RotoWire has found 5 running backs who will carry you to your fantasy football championship in 2025. Christian McCaffery, I know he's a risk. A lot of injury history. There have been 3 years. He's missed at least half the season. You could take the short range on Christian McCaffery because in the last 3 years, in 2 of those years, he has been a full-time player. Last year, I believe, was a non-football injury, the Achilles. So therefore, Christian McCaffery, in my mind, has been mostly football durable. That said, you can argue about it, but you can't argue the production McCaffery has. McCaffery has played 4 seasons in his career when he has been a full-time player. And in those seasons, he has either been the overall running back 1 or the overall running back 2. No player in fantasy football has that resume. Would it surprise you to see him get 1,000 yards receiving and 1,200 yards rushing? Not for a second. Would it surprise you to see him get 20 touchdowns? Not at all. The 49ers defense keeps losing key infrastructure pieces year after year. This is a team that's going to give up points, and we already know Kyle Shanahan will lean heavily on Christian McCaffery. So as the running back 5 in drafts, definitely you want to win that league or win that tournament. He may be the ticket to success. A little bit cheaper is Breece Hall. You can get him on average drafts around running back 13. Breece Hall only had 1,359 scrimmage yards, 8 touchdowns, and 57 catches last year. But we were drafting him as the running back 1 or running back 2 overall. That was a disappointing season, and I could not figure out why. 38th percentile broken tackle rate, 49th percentile yards after contact. This is not the Breece Hall I saw as a rookie before his ACL injury. This is not the player I saw post-ACL injury in 2023 who was a league winner from week 5 on. Why did Hall struggle? The offensive line was actually the first good line he had played with. Then there was an interview after the season, Breece Hall speaking to the media, and he said he played the year through a sprained MCL knee injury, and that explains why he struggled. Well, that is enough for me. I buy that story because there is no other explanation as why Breece Hall would not look good. So now you have a discount on Breece Hall. He is that same running back who was a running back 1 or 2 last year. The coaches are talking committee. If Breece Hall is healthy, no coach is going to say, we just like the other guy. Breece Hall is a superstar. He will be that on your fantasy team. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second, hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming. If you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You head to rotowire.com, choose your subscription, and use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, another potential league winner is James Conner. James Conner was red hot down the stretch before he missed a little time at the end of the season. Conner misses 1 to 3 games a season, but you're getting him around running back 20. Now, James Conner, 47 catches last year, over 1,500 scrimmage yards. Very, very strong season. His 85th percentile broken tackle rate. Actually, Conner's last 2 years in Arizona are his most efficient seasons. First 2,000-yard rushing seasons, highest yards per carry, 4.6 2 years ago, 5.0 last year. And he is not missing time. I mean, not missing snaps. Trey Benson, good player. James Conner got signed to a contract extension last year. Why will Conner continue to carry the load? Because Conner is the heart and soul of that offense. They need him on the field because he's more than just yards. He is a culture setter, and that's what they want. And remember, of the 4 games where Conner had 22 or more PPR points, 3 of those came in weeks 14 through 16. He was getting hot at the right time. Maybe he's fitting in better with that offense. Another one is a little bit later, Tony Pollard. You get him around running back 28 in average drafts. Tony Pollard had 1,079 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. It was a brutal offensive line in Tennessee. But they had some injuries and they had some young players. Well, those young players are starting to develop. They continue to invest in the line. And it really appears that and they signed Dan Moore in free agency. It really appears this offensive line could make a move to be decent. And that may be all Tony Pollard needs. Tony Pollard showed us some great things in Dallas a few years ago, but even what he showed us last year when the deck was stacked against him with no quarterback play, Will Levis, Mason Rudolph. Well, now Cam Ward's at a quarterback. Might open things up for him a little bit. But Tony Pollard proved what he is. And we may see a big explosion on him, and you're getting him very cheap. The last one, this is crazy. I understand. But this is a super late flyer that could sneakily win your league. And if it doesn't work out, you could cut him. Nick Chubb. I know. He's on the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon's backfield right now, right? Nick Chubb, he was never going to be healthy last year. Remember 2023, week 2, horrible knee injury. But he came back last year, but he clearly was not himself. But Nick Chubb now has the offseason. He broke his foot too last year. Nick Chubb has an opportunity here. Joe Mixon's been the great compiler. Joe Mixon 3.9 to 4.1 yards per carry. Last year, his broken tackle rate, yards after contact, they fell way off. If Nick Chubb is 80% of what he was, he is exponentially better than Joe Mixon. Nick Chubb has always been a superstar. Never really got the workload. In 1 or 2 years he did. And that said, if you bet on Nick Chubb being healthy, he will win that starting job. The offensive line's not great, but C.J. Stroud will help being a great quarterback. Defense got to worry about him. Nick Chubb could be that late round player that's a huge gem to help you win your league.